Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, Robert Phoenix, out here in the great outdoors, underneath the tree of knowledge, tree of life. I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit. I'm getting a bit of a late start with today's show. Just been trying to compile as much information as possible so that I have something worthwhile to deliver today. And let's see, let's see how people kind of aggregate and congregate here. Tomorrow we'll be back at 8:45 a.m. And let's see what we got. There's Steve. What's going on, Thor? What's happening? Thor by the door. My man. I still haven't figured out how to get rid of the wonderful comments or questions here. Not that Steve, I want to get rid of you, but I haven't figured it out. Odd. It's an odd thing. So usually what I do is I drop my name right in there. Good morning, Nicholas. Good to see you. And I just pretty much sort of replace you with me because I haven't figured out how to get rid of them. Anyway, nice to see you, Steve. Welcome. We got Danica Rose, Uncle Glenn, Christy. What's going on? Laura D, Alabama Barbie. Love that name. Carrie Rose, Double C, Craig Corporon in the house. Mary Black. Still saying three things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. I like that. Joe Mom in the house. Frank, what's going on, Frank? Thank you. Appreciate that. Was these are challenging times for sure. So I'm trying to put things together that are enlightening, entertaining, informative, bringing in the astrological tip, which I think is always an intriguing kind of look into the world. These are all like important pieces in my estimation in terms of delivering this to you. So, what we do here Monday through Thursday, slightly different. We're bringing some astrology, more kind of news of the day, perspectives, things like that. If you're new to this experience. And the numbers last night really jumped up. They really jumped up. And, maybe those were the numbers all along. I don't know. Or maybe it's just kind of a new wave that's sort of, discovering this experience and getting the bennies and hanging out in Chatlandia. I don't know what it is, but last week was really like generally 3 to 4 times normal the views that we get. So I'm happy about that on some level, right? But I was, pretty much happy or content. I wouldn't say content, but I was willing to accept kind of where I was previously. Who knows what that was anyway. Robert Scanlon, Johnny, I'll get back to you today. I got your text, got your email, so I'll get back to you today. T. Jordan in the house. What's going on, T? There she is, Ani, the wench for the wrench, the lovely Natasha Lloyd, Beth Berry, Jennifer Fitzgerald, PB. What's happening? Who else did I miss? Double V, EC 2189, Kaku present. There's Lils, 10 Dragon, Kestrel's in the house. Let's see, Ryan. What's going on, Ryan? Good to see you. Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. It's good to see progress in one's work on some level, right? Because we're in this theoretical third dimensional world. Although some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today might actually tug at that a little bit, but it's good to see the 3D feedback loop work. I mean, at that, because at least there's some kind of metric point where it's like, okay, well, this is actually kind of making some level of sense, at least to me. Let's see, lunar eclipse in Gemini, ironing out the details. Solar eclipse in Sag. Oh boy, it is coming, man. It is coming. That solar eclipse is going to be right on Trump's moon, by the way. We never get out of the astrological drama with Trump. There's my girl, Lynette Jardine. What's happening, Lynette? Good to see you. Ralph Winter, London Calling. I love that. Good to see you, Ralph. Amanda Pomander, she's here. Let's see. Rob, I can't wait until you get older. Then I can start calling you the Silver Surfer. T. Jordan, let's see. Has anyone heard back from Bridie yet? Did you guys reach out to Bridie? I hope so. I hope so. Anyway, I'll contact her today and see if there are any connections. And I know some of you who are over in England probably would like to connect with her. She's in the Nottingham area, Sherwood Forest and that whole thing. Mark Matheny, what's happening, brother? Tina Sherman came to say good morning. Okay. All right, Tina. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Anna E. in the house. Carolina in the Pines. Great connecting with you while you were here in Texas. And I hope you had a really good time. It seemed like you really did. And it was interesting watching people kind of congregate at certain tables, like at the event. And I noticed at one point there was a table that was occupied by mostly introverts, which was, I think, interesting. And I was like, well, that's cool. That's really cool. And then, of course, we tried to move around so that people could have different experiences with different people. What do these call those things? Progressive dinners, where you go from like one house to another and like you have a different course at each house. God, the days of the progressive dinner. I guess a progressive dinner would mean something very different now, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. The Crimmies in the house. Ani Brito on the solar return. That's an interesting eclipse phase. I've seen it. I've seen it with people. Sometimes it can be a very life-changing event. Other times it can, in that moment, not be as life-changing, but the effects can be felt, what is it, a week and a half before and a week and a half after. And sometimes the effects can be felt much longer. And I've seen that. I've seen all three of those things sort of occur. So, Ani, we'll be waiting to hear back. So we'll hear back from the word on the astrological street. Let's see. Cindy Burton's here. And what else? Anybody 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 else? Okay, we got a lot of ground to cover today, and I want to try to get things rolling because I've got also other stuff to do. So let's get going. Say a little invocation here. Say, hey, you guys, say hello to Ralph. Give Ralph a good, robust Chatlandia greeting in there. Let's see. This is bizarre. What is bizarre? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet when we get into bizarre today. All right, here we go. Dear blessed and holy Mother, Father God of the great central sun, which is the universal light, which is the light of Yeshua, Sananda, Emmanuel, we ask only the highest and best information, wisdom, and truth comes through this channel at this time. And in so doing, we are blessed and graced by the qualities of perspective, elevation, expansiveness, joy, concentration, focus, balance, agility, navigation, determination, consistency, constancy, adaptability, strength, flexibility, empathy, compassion, humor, courage, and above all, love. We ask that any karmic residue be cleansed, purified, clarified, and removed from this stream. So be it. All right, let's get going. Where do I start? Well, why don't we start with the Gemini effect? It is full on right now. I'm going to show you some stuff, and it's going to wig you out a little bit. Okay, there's something going on here with this election that is unlike anything I've ever seen before. I mean, it's not. We're off in a different reality now. We are off in a different manufactured. I mean, it's always been that way. We've always been living in a version of this idea of the Matrix, but we're in a different sim. That's what I'm feeling here. We're in a different sim, and it's like, okay, I'm not really sure I like this version of the sim as much as I like the last version of the sim, but we're in it now, and I'm going to try to show you some things that are indicative of what this simulation, or at least a simulation revealing itself to us. All right. So I want to start with Hunter Biden, who, in my estimation, Hunter Biden was this sacrifice that was offered up. And they moved Hunter Biden into the Ghislaine Maxwell and the Jeffrey Epstein space, because those were the people. If we were to think about things like drugs and young people and pedophilia and all the gnarly, nasty shit that we became aware of with Hunter Biden, it'd probably be those two. And what happened with Epstein, he's gone. He's probably, in some dump somewhere. Who knows where? I think most of us would probably agree that, number one, he didn't kill himself. And number two, he's not dead. All right. They basically extracted him. That's what happened. Then you have Ghislaine Maxwell, who all of a sudden, goes to, what was it, Vermont or something like that, or New Hampshire. She was somewhere up there, and they pluck her out, and then they take her and put her into detention. But we don't really know that. We don't really know that. What we know is the fact that there's this woman who supposedly is incarcerated in New York, and all we have is an artist rendition of somebody who is, behind this plexiglass window and being arraigned. I mean, that's all we have. That's all we know. That's all we know. And there's been no movement around her or it or the case ever since she's been there. Okay. But what we do know and what we do have is we have Hunter Biden. And Hunter Biden kind of filled that void, and all the salacious and kind of tabloid details that we would associate mostly with Epstein and Maxwell got kind of moved through that pipeline with Hunter Biden. And they gave us the bread and circus. They gave us this kind of, this unholy communion, this genetically modified kind of resolution in some ways, with the idea that it would, be this October surprise and torpedo what was going on with Biden in the campaign. And I think to some extent it mattered on a certain level, and was just starting to kind of break through the cracks with the mainstream media, particularly ABC. And yet the whole process of delegitimizing the current president had started way before that. And there has been a delegitimization campaign from day one, so that anything that would come up would be considered to be fake news or weak conspiracy theory. And that has just continued to move forward to this point in time, even with the vote. So reality as it exists will have a very difficult time resolving itself in terms of the proof of this reality. Okay. So just remember that, because we have the South Node in Sagittarius, which means truth is in its descendancy. And Gemini, which is duplicity, which is polarity, which is duality, which is mutability, which is trickery, is in the ascendancy. Okay, so we have trickery and duplicity in the ascendant position, and truth and law and order in the descendant position. Okay, so this is where we are now. So trying to verify, our reality, our consensus reality through the normal Sagittarian filter is not going to work. It is going to be very, very difficult. And this does really not bode well in terms of potential lawsuits, okay, because we see that Sag is in the descendancy. What does bode well and what is working is the bait and switch, doing one thing and, and then offering up something else. And I was watching some of these people who were counting ballots in these various cities. And let me just say, looked like a lot of those ballot counters were inserted, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, because that's the other part of this thing. It's not just the votes or the ballots themselves or whatever they are. It's the actual ballot counters. Like, I saw one video where this guy looks at a ballot and he crumples it up and throws it away. Now, I don't know what the fuck that was about. I don't know what it was about at all. And so you had a whole cadre of ballot counters that were inserted into this whole mix. And that gets into this, this piece around the mail-in ballots, the absentee ballots. That's all, postal stuff. And the Postal Service is ruled by Gemini. Gemini is a messenger of the gods. So when we think of people that have delivery services and couriers, I'm going to get into a little bit of that today with truckers, that we're dealing with Gemini. And so what we've seen is this Gemini thing just explode, really explode. And the Sagittarian piece, not really being able to kind of hold the center. Now, that's going to change, but it's not going to change really until 2021 when that true node goes into Taurus and things become much more compact and condensed. And, there's more kind of, more terra firma involved with that true node. And what will be interesting is with the South Node in Scorpio, what will be revealed. So we're a little over a year out from that, because that South Node, if people are trying to be duplicitous and kind of work the dark angle, the dark magical angle, the occultic angle with the South Node in Scorpio, it is not going to go well. And Scorpio is the secret keeper of the zodiac. So what we're seeing now is we're seeing the Sagittarian element just get completely disabled by the kryptonite of Gemini in a lot of ways. But that'll change. And when the nodes change, then we're into a fixed territory. We're into a fixed reality. And that can be challenging too, especially if they want to essentially take everybody's soft assets and flip them into the global reset, which would be a South Node Scorpio. And hey, you're going to get your UBI and you're going to like it, motherfucker. Right? That's another reality there. But it's more fixed than what we're dealing with now. What we're dealing with now is mutability, which means that there are things that they're changing. There's moving targets. Anyway, let's talk about Hunter Biden some more. I'm going to show you something, and it should get your attention. It should get your attention. So this is from Joe Biden's acceptance speech. This is supposedly Hunter Biden. I can tell you right now, that is not Hunter Biden. That is not Hunter Biden. It actually looks like a young version of Tony Blair. That is not Hunter Biden. I'm going to show you why it's not Hunter Biden. First of all, the eyes are too close together. That's number one. Keep your eyes on the eyes. Okay? Eyes on the eyes. The eye color is different. Totally different. Hunter Biden has blue eyes. This guy has brown eyes. The eyebrows are very different. And unless he got, what do you call it? Manscaped. Unless he got manscaped, these eyebrows do not match. They don't match. The eye color doesn't match. This is brown. This is blue. You can go back and see any number of Hunter Biden photos where he has blue eyes. The ears are different. They're vastly different. Look, Hunter Biden has there is less cartilage here than here. I mean, what the fuck is this? Is that even a fucking ear? I don't even know what that is. You know, it's like they just slapped that on at the assembly line. I don't know what this is. That's an ear. That looks like an ear. Okay. This, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Everything is different. Everything is different about this character. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is not Hunter Biden. This is not Hunter Biden. So what the fuck is going on here? Okay. What are we doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Is that even any? No, it's not. I don't know what that is. You know what that? You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of when you were a kid, you played Mr. Potato Head, and you stick that thing that looks like an ear of Mr. Potato Head. That's what that looks like. It's a Mr. Potato Head ear. I love Mr. Potato Head. He was great. All right, so we're not done. This is not Hunter Biden. This is not Hunter Biden. Okay, I don't know where Hunter Biden is. I don't know whether he's OD'd, whether they put him in deep freeze. I don't know where he is. That's not him. That's not him. Now I'm going to show you that Joe Biden is not Joe Biden either. So be prepared for this. And I may have to take a break because I decided I was going to try to do today's show without powering up and jacking into the AC. And that may not be able to happen unless I do a quick show, which I might. So I want to show you Joe Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who this person is. It is not Joe Biden. This is not Corn Pop's greatest fear. It's not him. I look at this picture and you know what I say? Come on, man. Come on, man. All right. Here it is. That's not Joe Biden. It looks like it looks a little like, I don't know, Bob Barker. I know it's not Bob Barker. This is not Joe Biden. And I'll show you why. Look at the ear. Look at the ear. Do you see the ear? Do you see the ear? Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a picture of Joe Biden from when he was younger. Okay. Here we go. Look at the ear. The lobe is not attached. It is not attached. Whoever that character is, that ear comes right in and attaches to the side of his face or the lower third of his head. That is not whatever we're witnessing now. That is not Joe Biden. I'm telling you. And it hasn't been Joe Biden. From the jump. Let me show you another picture of, here we go. And this is a really good picture because you clearly see the shadow and the depth of the connection with the ear, right? You can see it. I mean, this ear, it's not a Buddha lobe or a drooping lobe, but it does not really attach, right? There is space there. You can see the contrast. You can see the shadow. All right. Now I'm going to show you another picture of Joe Biden. Again, this is a current picture, and I want you to remember what I just showed you. Remember what I just showed you. Okay. Here we can see the ear is completely attached. Completely attached. So did he have, I've never heard of like a lobe attachment augmentation. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's a clone. If he's a clone, they're getting it wrong. Is he a robotoid? I don't know. But that is not Joe Biden. Or at least that's not the one that made his career working for credit card companies on Capitol Hill. And the thing with whoever this character is that he can be programmed He can be programmed to say anything, deny anything. It's a total program. It's not him. It looks warm there, Robert. Record-breaking temps here this week. Well, we're good. It's not really warm, but it's warm enough for me to be sleeveless. Some plastic surgeons change the ear like that when they do facelifts. Okay, maybe. Seems like a bit of a. It seems like a lot. So thanks for clarifying that. I still don't think it's him. And clearly, I don't think Hunter Biden is that version of Hunter Biden is Hunter Biden. Okay. Probably from faceless. Okay. A lot of surgery or some deep. I don't think it's him. And then we had that weird thing last night where all of a sudden he just goes max headroom. So I'm going to play you another part of this deep fakery. And I'm not a huge fan of Laura Loomer. It's not my cup of tea. But there is some pretty credible evidence that Kamala Harris, or the version of Kamala Harris that we saw in Florida, or some people saw, is not even her. So this is what happens with the whole mask deal. It just it allows for this like fakery. Okay. So I'm just going to play this without the audio. Here we go. Let's watch this. That's Loomer. Red dress, of course. Yeah, I don't think that was Harris. And one of the reasons why I don't think it was Harris is because when you watch that video or you watch that interaction, she should be surrounded by at least 3 or 4 Secret Service people. She's not. That person is not. She's got like one big goon and some assistant, some helper. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. All right. Thanks for your patience in that. Got to stay in touch with the source, if you know what I mean. So it's not uncommon to have doubles in play. Hillary Clinton, going all the way back to the first time that she ran against Barack Obama, was spotted twice in New York City at the same time. So she was on one side in New York City and on another side in New York City campaigning. So doubles are not out of the question. Doubles for presidents aren't out of the question. When George Bush was president, I always saw more than one Bush. There were basically two Bushes. There was like the angry Bush, and then there was the pathetic Bush. So this is not, I mean, I think this has been in play for a while. And even with Trump, I've seen photos where Trump doesn't look like Trump. I've seen photos where Melania doesn't look like Melania. So this is, I don't think one party has the claim or the title to this idea of doubles and or stand-ins and or even clones. I think that they're probably much more pervasive than people know or understand at this point. But this has been really consistent with this election, especially on the Biden side. And I'm going to show you something else, which is really bizarre. And it has to do with his latest speech. Okay. And once you pull back and see what's going on, you can get a real sense that you're in the Truman Show. And they're telling you you're in the Truman Show. They're telling you that this isn't really about election fraud. This is about reality fraud. It's not about hijacking an election. It's about hijacking reality, or the things that we agree upon that represent reality. Okay, so I'm going to show you something. This is going to flip your wig. Okay, here we go. It's about 2 minutes worth of video. But it is going to be well worth your time. I'll include the sound on this one. So watch this. This is bizarre. The AP has called the presidential race for Joe Biden. All right. Hopefully we'll be able to play this in. Let's go. Let's go.
But the numbers tell us it's clear. Tell us a clear and convincing story. We're going to win this race. We're on track to over 300 electoral votes, and we've rebuilt the blue wall in the middle of the country that crumbled just 4 years ago. We're not waiting to get the work done and start the process. We know something about what it feels like to lose to something. We know something about what it feels to like to lose to something. Strong disagreements are inevitable in a democracy. Strong disagreements are healthy. The purpose of our politics isn't total, unrelenting, unending warfare. No. We have to put the anger and the demonization behind us. You're a damn liar, man. You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush. You know what you said? Get your words straight, Jack. People will be heard. Our journey is toward a more perfect union. I hope to be talking to you tomorrow. Good night.
There's no one in the cause.
And sober and calm.
Look, guys, there's no one in the cause.
The bottom of all these questions regarding the vote.
There's no one there.
The more calm he is, the more effective he is. You saw the reaction.
There's no one there.
He did, and in that town hall he did with Savannah Guthrie, where he listened to everybody's question.
No.
It's the psyop.
Jeep, 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 Jeep. It's all Jeeps. Why? Someone tell me why.
So there are people there. If you look out towards the sort of the wing of that event, but they look more like production people than actual people that are there to celebrate, the victory of Joe Biden. And all those cars are empty. There's nobody in the car, and they are Jeeps, and they're almost all brand new. I think, in fact, they're probably all brand new. So what is really going on here? What the fuck is going on here? It's like there's this reality that's being put into place. It has nothing to do with an election. The election itself is a fraud. And they're basically saying, okay, we're going to take your reality. We're going to remove that reality. This is part of the reset. And we're going to put in this fraudulent reality with fraudulent people that are going to manage your new fraudulent world. And and to me, this is the troubling piece. Beyond the fact that I think that the and I know there are people that are not into the whole voting, whatever. I get it, right? But for the people that are into the voting thing, it's a big wake up call, because they're seeing that it is deeply corrupt and essentially created so that they can move people and pieces and candidates around. I went through and I watched the Ronald Reagan election from 1980 when he went up against Jimmy Carter. They called that motherfucker in about an hour and a half. That was it. They were done. Boom, done. And I remember as a kid, because that was the last time I voted, was in that 1980 election. And I remember as a kid, it's like, why are they doing this so early? It felt really demoralizing. Why are they doing this so early? Are they able to just like grab all these electoral college votes and then just delegitimize everything else? And that was one of my first experiences of feeling like this thing that we're in, this realm, is incredibly plastic and malleable for people that want to be able to create the conditions of the world that we want to, or they want us to inhabit. And it's been that way for quite a while. And this is just the latest version of it. Like, we're seeing something just completely bizarre. Well, let's get into some of the details around just how bad and how egregious, how upfront. They didn't even make this thing subtle. So Gateway Pundit, this is from yesterday, 132,000 ballots in Fulton County, Georgia, have been identified, which are likely ineligible. So we're starting to get things that are seeping through. And I don't know who Kyle Becker is. It says 132,000 change of address, red flags. You'll see a lot of that as we begin to unearth this process. These votes are highly likely ineligible now to vote and have moved, per source, Biden leads Georgia by 10,000 votes as of last update. So 10,000, and then we've got 132,000 change of address flags. Boom, right there. That's just Georgia alone. And there is story after story after story after story. Let's see if I can find another one here. Let's see, that one. Rick Wiles. Stop this deal. Hold on. Biden. All right. So I thought I had another. Okay. I'm going to have to go back and, man, it is really coming down here in terms of the leaves. So there. Okay. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Here we go. This is with. Yeah, it's a Twitter thing. Okay. Again, here we go. I'll play the audio on this one.
Has not laid our eyes on a ballot signature, an envelope signature,
We'll play again.
and a voter roll signature on a single one of those 600,000 voters. But what we've discovered is that we have over 600,000 votes that have been counted in the state of Nevada through the mail-in system. This campaign has not laid our eyes on a ballot signature, an envelope signature, and a voter roll signature on a single one of those 600,000 voters. But what we've discovered.
So essentially, again, I'm just here to kind of report the incongruities. So now you got 600,000 votes that have absolutely no relationship to any voter, whether it's on the ballot itself or when you go and you sign your name in, like they can't match that up. So now we're up to 700,000 votes. 700, and that's just between those two states alone, and that one instance in Nevada alone. All right. Now, apparently in Philadelphia, and I had this thing up here, and I gotta go back. In Philadelphia, they have people voting, and this is nothing new, but they have people voting who were well over 100 years old, and a lot of them. And they also had, of course, dead people voting in Philadelphia. Okay? Dead people. So this is now starting to come out. It's starting to hit. And it's getting to a point where let's see, shambles in court cases up to 20 president-elect Robin. Okay. It's getting to this point where people, it's seeping in. It's becoming corrosive. It is becoming corrosive, and it is going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. There's a lot of tension, and if we are actually, so here's the challenge: we're going to have to hold the line. We have to hold the center, but at the same time, we're having to defend ourselves against this onslaught of tyranny and lies and corruption. And not only that, but the on the boots, on the ground forces that are making it very difficult for people to be able to protest or be able to speak their mind, whether it's online or offline. This is a type of conflict in warfare that the likes of which we've never seen. And, I've talked about Rhodesia for a reason. Because in Rhodesia, that war was being fought on basically two fronts. They had the war that was going on with Zapu and Zanu, who were being funded by the communists, China, North Korea, and Russia. That was going on. And they had to do that. Like, they had to deal with these people who wanted to assert power and control. They didn't really want to have a representative government. And I think it's pretty clear that Ian Smith was willing to work towards that. What happened was that they really were able to kind of deal with that, but they couldn't deal with the other war, which was the war of public opinion, and then the war that was taking place with diplomacy, sanctions, et cetera, et cetera. So this is where we are. This is where we are at this point, and we're in this kind of multivariant conflict, and not only that, but there's also, unlike Rhodesia, there's also the potential for conflict with other countries around the planet. And those conflicts can be either militarized conflicts, they can be trade conflicts. So there's a lot of different ways that this thing can spin. So again, we're in the midst of something deep, transformational, and profound. And I like to make light of it every now and then, and I like to, poke at the erase and show you things that, make you want to scratch your head and go, what the hell is going on here, right? And these things are at the very least entertaining, but there's something much bigger and much deeper going on, and don't lose sight of it. It's not just about an election fraud. It's about a reality fraud. That's where we are. And in some ways, I think it's good. It's interesting because maybe, just maybe, we'll have an opportunity to create a different kind of reality. Chaos, this idea of chaos being used and exploited by people who understand chaos magic or how to convert chaos into order, it's not the sole province of those people. So chaos is an interesting energy, and anybody can tap into it. It can be a creative energy. So try to understand that all chaos isn't good or isn't bad. All order isn't good. All order isn't bad, and all chaos isn't good, right? We have to have this blend between the two. Right now, chaos is reigning supreme, so they can superimpose and insert order over the top of this thing. But you could use chaos, and you could be creative with chaos if you have the ability to do that, and we all do. However it's done. I want to play you a little song here, and I really like this song. It's I think Lee guessed this might be your twin flame. I would love to see you do a duo with this young man. So I'm going to leave you on a little bit of humor here today, and then I'm going to jump back in and start to work with my world. So here we go. This is a catchy little ditty called Pallets Full of Ballots. Here we go.
When I went to sleep, Trump had the lead. How the hell did we go from election day to election week? The posters started wrong again, they must have been confused. But I tell ya about shit myself when I turn on the morning news. Cause they found ballots full of ballots at 3 a.m. All the way from Georgia to Michigan. They took the caps off of their Sharpies and they filled them fuckers in. All those pallets full of ballots, all for Joe Biden. Well, isn't that sweet? He got just what he needs. They found just enough folks to get Sleepy Joe to lead. He said, come on, man, I hope you'll be a good sport. Donald Trump said, fuck that shit, I'll see your ass in court. Bring those pallets full of ballots you found at 3 a.m. All the way from Georgia to Michigan. They called Arizona early, and the only way to win is the pallets full of ballots all for Joe Biden. Somebody better wake him up, said Joe as Superman. To tell the truth, I think he forgot he was running for president. But it doesn't matter, cause they found pallets full of ballots at 3 a.m. All the way from Arizona to Wisconsin. They want us to bend over so they can fuck us again. There's pallets full of ballots, that's the only way they'll win. There's pallets full of ballots, all for Joe Biden. God bless Donald Trump.
Hey, no matter where you are in the Trump thing, you gotta love that, man. You gotta love it. It's subversive, it's funny, it's creative, and that's. Hold on a second. I got Tucker in my ear, and that's how you deal with chaos. That's how you deal with chaos. You bring it into a creative order. So I'm going to leave you with that. All right? Okay. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to accept what's possible. Quick 48 minutes today. I'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to start tracking this thing. It's probably going to get real hot. It's going to get hot, and stay cool. All right? Bye for now. I'm Robert Phoenix. Take care.